We are officially on to Indianapolis. How do the Denver Broncos start 2-0, which is very important for their playoff hopes? How do they beat the Colts? I've got 3 keys to the game coming up next. All right, Broncos country, let's dive deep into this thing. The Denver Broncos get a win over the Tennessee Titans. Now you move on to what people want you to believe is the hottest team in the NFL, Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts, who scored on every single offensive possession that they had a week ago. I'm not a big believer. The flavor of the week doesn't taste good to me. I'm not a believer in Daniel Jones and these Indianapolis Colts. So how do the Broncos get this victory? I've got 3 keys and then some numbers that you need to know. First up, well, if you watch the show on Monday, you probably can expect where this thing's going to go. Balance between the run and the passing game. Balance for Sean Payton. Is that even possible for a dude like Sean Payton? It was 40 pass attempts for Bo Nix. It was 22 rushing attempts by running backs. 30 total because Bo ran the ball 8 different times, but he don't count because he's not a running back. So will we have more balance? Now, an average offense is going to play 60 plays a game. Sometimes you give or take a couple of north, sometimes you give or take a couple south. But it's about 60 plays roughly a game. Now, if I were to say, hey, it's a 30-30 split, of course that's perfect. The coach is Sean Payton. It's never going to be that close of a split. Could we go 35-25? Can you go 33-27? That's the healthy kind of split that I'm looking at. 33-27. 33 passes for Bo. Give me 27-ish run attempts for the Denver Broncos. And if there's 27, J.K. Dobbins got 16 by himself a week ago. I like 14-16 rushing attempts for J.K. Dobbins every single week. But 6 for my man R.J. Harvey, you're about 6'7" too short for my liking. So balance is key number 1. And to be honest, I'm a little nervous about it because all the reasons I stated back on Monday's show. You know what else is an added bonus to balance if the Broncos are able to achieve that coming up Sunday in Indianapolis? They have a running back that they certainly want to give the ball to over there. His name's Jonathan Taylor. You might remember him from dropping the ball at the end zone and gifting the Broncos a win from last year. JT, shout out to you for that. That was nice. Keep him off the field. You have a healthy balance between run and pass. That's going to lead to 10, 11, 12 play drives, 6, 7, 8-minute drives. And that keeps their workhorse in Jonathan Taylor off the field and over there on the bench just watching reps. So that's key 1, balance. Please, Sean Payton, have a little bit of balance. Number 2, we got to go to Bo Nix here. I need Bo Nix to settle down a little bit, calm down a little bit. Now, I like him getting all up in the kitchen of one Sean Payton, telling him, let's go, let's go, let's go. Last week, and he's telling him, get the play in here quicker. I need more time at the line of scrimmage. Love that part about it. I would even be cool with Bo yelling at Lucas Kroll. Remember we said stop? He's telling him, it's zone coverage, Lucas. You find the soft spot and you stop. That means where there aren't defenders, you turn around and wait for the football. He kept running. Bo missed him. He was upset about that. I'm actually not even too worried about that. That's not what I'm speaking on when I say settle down. The argument part with Jeffrey Simmons, I don't like that. You got to be emotional a little bit. Bo seems to lack that until last week against Tennessee. I just don't like him getting into arguments in the middle of the game when you're not performing that well. I think Bo was playing with a little bit too much emotion Sunday against the Titans. I have a theory on that. I'd love to know what you think about it. We know Sean Payton was running his mouth in the offseason, right? Saying, hey, it's 7th team, I think, that can go to the Super Bowl. Bo's going to be a top 4 or 5 quarterback. I wonder how much extra pressure that adds to Bo Nix. He's got a ton of pressure. He's an NFL quarterback. It's the toughest job in the entire world. There's like 12 dudes that are good at it. 12 dudes that are okay at it. There's like 6 dudes that are good at it. There's already a ton of pressure on Bo, and that's what an NFL quarterback lives with. But, man, if I'm a defensive coordinator, if I'm Jeffrey Simmons on the Tennessee Titans and I'm hearing Sean just run his mouth and pop off with predictions of what it's going to be, I'm going to take that a little personal, right? Like, all right, we're fixing to find out. I'm going to go play against Bo and see what that is. Wonder how much added pressure Bo feels. He'll never tell us, and Sean will never stop, but it's a little theory that I want to keep an eye on as this continues. So Bo has to settle down. Throw the football with your feet planted. Stop trusting your rocket arm so much. Get back to establishing a platform. You have enough speed to create some distance from those big fat guys in the trenches there, and plant your feet, throw the football, and get back to your mechanics that we saw Bo Nix use. Settling down brings all of that very, very easily. And the third one, I mean, it's not really a key because it's just letting the defense do their thing. Defense, do your thing, man. Remember that? I think Randy Moss used to say that, and it was fun on ESPN. Force some turnovers. Show the world that Daniel Jones is not a guy that goes and scores on every single offensive possession. Obviously, putting some pressure on a quarterback helps a ton. Make him make quicker decisions, and that'll lead to some turnovers. But what you can really do, defense, keep them to a field goal, like you did last week with the Tennessee Titans. Picture a game in Indianapolis where they're up by 10. In the second half, they're up by 13. Maybe you're up by 17. Maybe that's wishful thinking on my part, the way it looked a year ago. But you take Jonathan Taylor, the running back, out of the game, you're going to see Daniel Jones, the quarterback, turn into the pumpkin that he really is. It's going to be turning midnight on Daniel Jones because of this Broncos defense. One name I haven't mentioned, Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren, the rookie out of Penn State that plays all over the place, can be a tight end. Hell, he was a fullback at one point last week. He can line up in the slot. He can go outside and be your outside wide receiver if you want. He had 9 targets, 7 catches for 76 yards in his NFL debut. 5 of those 7 catches were for first downs. You got to have a body on this dude. Can Dre Greenlaw come back and be that dude that keeps a Tyler Warren in check? They're going to have Pittman on the outside. PS2 is going to shut that down. It's a complete wash. I think with Greenlaw back on the field, you might be able to call it as close to a complete wash as possible with Tyler Warren on the field. That dude can do it all. Dre Greenlaw needs to be out there to check him. The beauty, if he's not, because of how good PS2 is, you have a Talanoa Hufanga or a Brandon Jones playing down with a Stranad or a Singleton, whomever it may be. Jaquan McMillan. Size difference is a little scary there, but you get to bracket Tyler Warren because how much you trust in PS2. But do not forget about the big fella. He can hurt you. So those are my keys. You got to be balanced on offense. I'm very, very nervous about that for good reasons. Bo Nix has to settle down. Take a breath, man. You're going to be all right. And then obviously the third one is just the defense. Continue to absolutely dominate the way that you have been dominating. I'm making myself cry up here. All right, now to some numbers that you need to know. Numbers that you need to know, and we start with how the Broncos have looked in Indianapolis. Look at that. 1 win in Indianapolis in their last 8 tries. 1 in the last 8 tries. They've only won in Indianapolis 4 times in the 13 games. The last one coming there in 2017. Shout out to my guy Dan Chavez for getting this thing done right there. I don't know why they struggle in Indy. Now, there is a bit of an advantage here that it's not that 11 a.m. game. You hear that a bunch, right? Oh, well, you're traveling east or traveling west if you're on the East Coast, and you're going to play in a different time zone. I get it. It's a little hard. Your body clock's a little different. I can understand that. But that is crazy to me. 1 win in the last 8 games. Now, there's been some boring ones there. I can remember that was actually here, though. Fans were leaving before a game went into overtime. We were sitting in the press box like, what the heck? The fans are leaving? But, man, you're looking at some of these games, a 15-13 game, a 25-13 game. Nobody's jumping off the page. You go back to 2013, and we know what that was, where you score 39 points. But lately, these games haven't really been ideal or, fast, high-scoring type of football games. It's tough to win on the road. It's tough to win on the road when you have to travel and change time zones. They haven't quite had to do that, and I feel a little bit better about the Broncos' chances here. So let's hope that they buck that trend of 1-7, and it turns into 2-7 after this Sunday. Up next, let's just look at a breakdown here of what went right for both teams last week in their season opener. Of course, a lot went right for the Broncos and that defense against Tennessee. Only 112 passing yards for Cam Ward. He was lost a lot of that football game. 71 rushing yards. And they actually had a commitment to running the football. Now, I know they're doing it with Tony Pollard. And I don't know what Brian Callahan's football philosophy is, but whatever it is, it ain't good. 112 passing yards to just 71 rushing yards. Now look at what Daniel Jones and the Colts did to a terrible Dolphins team. 272 passing yards for Daniel Jones? You kidding me? And then 156 on the ground, where Daniel Jones also contributed, and they had 2 interceptions on Tua. We know Bo threw 2 interceptions a year ago. So what number tells the real truth? Is the Broncos defense that good? That's where I'm leaning. Or is the Colts defense really going to put up north of 270 yards passing and north of 150 yards rushing while forcing 2 turnovers? I think that the Colts offense is phony, fake, not real, a flash in the pan, whatever you want to call it. They're not going to put up those kind of numbers, and they're certainly not going to do it against these Denver Broncos. I like the Broncos to get it done. Follow my keys. Sean doesn't go crazy with the pass game, and Bo relaxes a little bit. They get the dub. They get the dub 24-13, start 2-0, and teams that start 2-0 in the NFL, a 72% chance of making the postseason. I like those odds for the Denver Broncos. Shout out to my man Dan Chavez, making this thing work, making it look so dang good. Don't forget, while you're here, like, subscribe, comment. I'd love to meet you in the comment section, try to circle back and see what you guys are saying about the show here. So while you're there, do all of those things. This has been Dover on Denver, and now I'm done.